something strange. This is so completely unbeknownst to Paul. When I turned this computer on this morning, and XSplit just decided to forget everything I had taught it. So
Yeah.
I had to completely rebuild all the scenes for like the switching and stuff like this. And so mine is usually zoomed in a little bit, and Paul's is whatever.
Well, mine is screwed up. I'm just in a different thing.
Yeah, so it's like for people who play GoldenEye, I'm normal mode and he's DK mode for back in the day.
The best part about this is when we reconvene on Monday, you'll have to do it again because I'll be back home and it will be the normal setup. You know?
Yeah. I know like roughly what it. I mean, it's not. I've done it so many times now. Like
I know, but like for the video, you have to sit there and
you gotta find. It's real easy to get that 95%. That last 5% of cropping Paul's head is always a joy of my life, just perpetually.
Sorry.
So where are you?
Where am I? At my friend John's house. I'm in his basement lair.
Does he know you're there?
Yes.
Fair question.
This is his new office, right? You know, like everyone else on Earth, he was sent home during the pandemic, and like the lucky some of us, he is never going back. So, you know, he's got like a little setup here now. But this is the room. I mean, I sleep in usually, you know, when I visit here, but now we have to fight over it because, you know, sometimes he wants to work like a jerk.
Yeah, who does that? I mean,
I know.
Work weeks and whatever else. So I know this joke has already been killed to death on Twitter, but I still find it hilarious. Google is opening a retail store in New York City, and I assume you can just walk in there and scream your question, and then it'll get answered.
Not even just walk in there and they'll hand you the thing you want, and you walk out.
Yeah, I always imagine like you just walk in like, yo, where's Subway? And then like they would just figure it out for you.
So my joke was, I hope they're taking over the former Microsoft store space.
Oh, God.
Too soon.
Hilarious. I mean,
yeah.
Does Microsoft still have the loft? What would Google call it? Like the upper
they
deck?
do. So actually Microsoft retained that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But that would make the Google store underneath them even funnier when you think about it. You know?
Yet again, the Google holding up the Microsoft. I guess you could call it. I wonder if the Google store has Windows.
Wow.
Yeah, just it's.
Look, I for a company that makes consumer electronics devices, I think having a retail store makes some sense. And just for the customer service stuff, you know, phone's broken, you're having a problem, walk in, get it fixed, whatever. I mean, it's so much better than shipping it off to somewhere.
Yeah, all you got to do if you don't live in New York City, like I don't know, 99% of the world, you just got to get on a plane, fly to New York City, walk into there, dump it off, and then.
I agree, it's not necessarily ideal for all of Google's customers. I don't, you know, they only have one store, guys. I don't know what to say. I mean,
3 billion people are just now descending on that single location.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how many people would walk in there with iPhones and be like, can you fix this? And you're like, that's not us.
See, really? Microsoft would have been like, yeah, we'll take this on. You know, we love people. It's like Toys R Us would let you return stuff that you didn't even buy there. They were just like so customer focused, you know.
Other things that were announced yesterday, this one's vaguely interesting for multiple reasons. Snap, the company behind Snapchat, announced new AR glasses. Nobody can buy them. They're giving them to creators. Honestly, the specs don't look great, but they look like actual sunglasses, and they
look like those old lady glasses. I know it's a terrible term to use, but they have the kind of protection on the side. I mean, it's probably not what it's for, but it looks like that kind of design.
And so the reason why you can't buy them, number one, we don't know what they would cost anyways, but then they have a 30-minute battery life, and the field of view is, I believe, significantly less than even like HoloLens. But this is some of like the first sort of non-gadget strapped to your head looking AR glasses.
You're not like a baby trying to support the weight of your own head. It's something you can put on and almost not know. Yeah, exactly. You're like kind of lolling around, like, you know. Anyway, yeah, no, it's definitely a step in the direction that it needs to go in for it to make sense.
Oh, I didn't even realize this. That Amazon is also shutting down their standalone Prime app, which I guess makes sense. Although
Prime now. So this is the delivery one, right?
Yeah.
So they're just going to roll it into the normal Amazon app.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean,
But speaking of which, by the way, so I don't know, remember why this came up, but yesterday, I guess, seems like a week ago now, because time, the way time is
Mm-hmm.
these days. Oh, I know. I was looking. It was the Google retail store thing. I was kind of looking into it. Obviously, Microsoft had retail stores, and they got rid of them last year. In fact, it was a year ago this month, right, when they announced they were getting rid of them after closing for the pandemic. Amazon has a bunch of retail stores, and in my head, I thought, well, I mean, obviously they own Whole Foods, we know that, but I know there are Amazon stores of some kind, and Amazon Go maybe. I had this idea, in Dedham, the town I moved from before that I'm now near again because I'm traveling. There was an Amazon store that wouldn't accept cash,
Mm-hmm.
for payment. Um, so I looked it up. Amazon has like a dozen different types of retail stores. Like if you look up Amazon retail,
Mm-hmm.
if you Google it, you'll find they have like a crazy. I should just do it instead of just talking about it, I guess. They have a lot of retail, a lot of different types of retail. Maybe is the way we should say this.
Yeah.
So, nope, that's not it. Oh, man, last time I searched for this, I went right to the right place the first time.
Yeah, I
Oh,
used Bing
Amazon.
on accident, and it gave me a list of.
Here we go.
Jeez.
So
Not
Amazon
what
Books, Amazon 4-star, whatever the hell that is, Amazon Fresh, for food, Amazon Pop-up, Amazon Go Grocery. And now, if you look, actually, that's only like 5 or 6. What is that? 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in that many locations. So, for example, in Massachusetts, where I am now, Dedham, like I said, Legacy Place, and then out in Linfield, I've heard of Linfield. I have no idea where it is. There are no Amazon stores in your state. There are no Amazon stores in the state I currently live in. So there aren't that many. But
What about? Well, they've also got Whole Foods.
and then oh no, I know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just talking like Amazon
Oh,
brand.
purely brand. Yep.
Oh yeah, Whole Foods are everywhere. Actually, Whole Foods. By the way, there's a great book about Amazon out that I'm now reading.
The Brad Stone one.
Yeah, it's the second. So it's the guy who wrote, he wrote a book called The Everything Store, and
Yep.
now he's written one about like the past 10 years. And by the way, if you're interested, I sort of look at Amazon mostly. I mean, we're Amazon customers, so we have Prime and all that stuff, but I'm particularly interested in their technology stuff. So obviously Echo and the smart Alexa, smart speaker stuff, and all that. There are chapters on all this stuff, and it's really interesting. But there's also chapters on like the retail stuff and all the things that have happened over the. It's a very very good book. But the reason they chose the reason they chose Whole Foods to buy is because they did this demographic comparison between their own customer base and Whole Foods,
Mm-hmm.
and they found that Whole Foods are the maps like overlay perfectly. So if you're the biggest, like I don't know how to say it's the biggest groups of Amazon customers in the United States are within 10 miles or something of a Whole
Yeah.
Foods. So it was kind of a perfect match. And now they have lockers and all that stuff, and so they can do that kind of cross integration thing. Because when you hear Amazon and Whole Foods, you're like, what do these things have? Whole Foods is kind of a high end supermarket, I guess we'll call it. And Amazon is more of, I think of Amazon as sort of a Walmart online, meaning more mainstream and, not affluent people, I guess. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, just mainstream people, the most people, I guess. But that's why.
Yeah, that book is on my to-do list. I got to finish this SpaceX book, which I'm hoping to finish up.
There's a chapter on that because obviously he owns
Blue Origin.
Blue Origin or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, they're doing really poorly against SpaceX, and there's an interesting chapter about that and how those two guys were friends originally, but then there was kind of a growing animosity because they're sort of competitors now in that space. Space.
Yeah, look at that pod. Yeah, I got to finish. I'm hoping to finish that book. Maybe I'm on vacation. I don't know. We'll see how much reading I can actually get done. But that's sort of the. I don't know. I'm a third of the way through.
I might even write a little mini review. You can cherry pick the chapters, which is kind of nice. So if you don't care about like their retail expansion in India, which I just made up actually, you can just skip that chapter or whatever. Like there's one about him and his wife and what happened there, and this, it's a good book.
Gotcha. Good to know. Good to know that you like it. Because if you do, then I probably will as well.
Yeah, you'll definitely like it.
So I don't know. You're in Boston. I'm going to Bamboo at some point today.
I am going. I'm having lunch with my brother there today. I'm going to see my mother for the first time since probably last February. I guess.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. My daughter came, so she's going to hang out with her friends, and we're having I have a group of guys who I'm friends with here, and we have these. I used to go back, and I will again now regularly, like once a quarter, and we have like these gentlemen evenings we call them, and so we're going to do the first one of those in a long time too. Tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night. So I'll see a bunch of guys I haven't seen,
Yeah.
which is nice. So.
Yeah, actually, we don't call it that, but whatever. I did that on Sunday. A friend who used to live in San Francisco, now lives in Berlin, came back into town, and then like when he comes in town, like all the people in the surrounding area just kind of.
Will you say his name? I don't know if you want to just keep this private. Or...
I won't say it. I'll tell you his name.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't think you wouldn't know. I mean, he was a high school friend.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if I knew who he was.
Yeah, no. It's probably not who you're thinking.
No, I know it's not that guy. But let's.
Are we still recording? Here, What a great podcast ending for the week of Paul and Brad talking about something while indirectly talking about something. Anyways,
speaking in coded fashion.
Build is next week, so there'll be a bunch of news or non-news coming out depending on what side of the coin you're on. And
look, I think everyone kind of understands. It's been several years now. It's we're skewing very heavily toward the cloud side when it comes to build, and that's the majority of Microsoft for sure. I think the thing to keep in mind is there is big news coming about Windows, probably not at build, right? So we know this is kind of a big year for Windows. We expect, and we had heard rumors about this right before Ignite, actually, the second Ignite, remember, from probably February, that there's going to be a Windows event this year, or at least we're planning one. And we know they're planning like this big Sun Valley thing. So it's reasonable to think, we have every indication there's going to be a big Windows thing. Yep. Probably not build, right? Just kind of level set there.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll catch everybody right back here on Monday, I think. Yeah, that sounds good.